Okay, so now we're in part 2 of the video. This is what your paper should look like after you finished it. So you should have gone through T, K, and I. Number 3 you should have gone through as A. This is what all your numbers should look like. So pause the video at any time to check. Number 7 and number 8 were a little tricky because you had to, it wasn't in a y equals form. You could have either moved x to the other side, making x negative, and then solve, or put one in for x and then remove it. Put 4 in for x, remove it to get 2. Put -2 in for x, add it to get 8. Put in 0 for x, you got 6. And for the last one, same thing. Put 6 in for x, move it to become negative, then divide by 2. Put -2 in for x, move it to be +2, divide by 2. So these ones are a little more complicated. Okay, so you're supposed to do that in your notes. Now that you know how to graph a linear equation because it makes a line, okay, now we're going to talk about other parts of linear equations. It says Jared is sitting in class. Jared's distance from home right now is 4 miles. He gets on the bus and goes home. Every mile is exactly 2 minutes. How many minutes will Jared be home? Graph the coordinates given and attempt to write an equation based off those coordinates. Okay, so he begins. There's no time has gone. He begins at 4. Okay, he begins at 4. And then after 2 minutes, he goes to 3. So when he's at 2 minutes, he goes to 3. When he is at 4 minutes, he's down to 2 miles. When he goes to 6 minutes, he's down to 1 mile. Okay. And then when he's 8 minutes, he's home. So here's a line. Okay. It says an equation. So your output is you start wherever you started. So the beginning, you started at 4 miles. And then you had a rate of change, which we'll talk about in a section, but you went every mile took 2 minutes. So every mile took 2 minutes, but we're going down. So we went down every mile 2 minutes. Now, if you don't understand this part, that's fine because it's not really in the section, but I thought we'd just try it. So if you can get this, great. All you do is graph the coordinates. It says, notice where we begin, x is 0. Okay. This is called the x-intercept. I'm sorry, it says when x is 0. This is called the y-intercept. Because x is 0, we begin with 0, and we're the y-intercept because we intercept the y-axis. The line crosses or intercepts the y-axis. So if your 4 is your y-intercept, it's the same thing as writing 0, 4. The ending, therefore, when we cross the x-axis, okay, it is called the x-intercept. And our y value is 0. So when our x-intercept was 8, actually our coordinate was 8, 0. So zeros are beginnings and endings. A graph simply needs 2 coordinates to create a line. Our important coordinates, x and y intercepts, can be used to be those 2 points. So this is called standard form. When you have a number x plus a number y equaling a number. Here, this is also a linear equation. It's just not in standard form. This is in slope-intercept form. And we'll talk more about those forms in a minute. So when it is in standard form, intercepts are the best to use. So beginnings when x equals 0 and endings when y equals 0. Okay, so if I put 0 in for x, what's going to happen? It's going to be completely removed, and we're going to get 4y equals 8. Therefore, y equals 2. So we have one coordinate. Our other coordinate, we're going to substitute in for y, and that is our other intercept. So x is 4. So our two coordinates are 0, 2, and 4.